Hi, Kirst here with Leaving Creek Outfitters. Today we're going to show you how to properly outrig a big rig. I have here angler crew member Robert. Robert Brown is going to show us what he's done to his big rig, and a lot of stuff can be bought or homemade. So we're going to go through it, and he's going to show us exactly how to do it properly.
What we have here is the Jackson Big Rig. This is their big freshwater fishing kayak. It's probably the second biggest boat in the Jackson lineup behind the Kraken as far as length. Had this boat exactly a year today. Very stable boat. Use it a lot in Lake Guntersville. It's 37 inches wide. It's got a pretty wide, stable cockpit. Got your stand assist bar, so for those folks that like to stand up and fish, this is a very good kayak platform for that. It's a little over 13 feet long. It's actually got a pretty decent speed on it once you get it up and going. I'm very satisfied with it. Like I said, I've had it a year, and I couldn't imagine fishing out of anything else. As you can see, it's got a lot of room for storage in your back tank well. You have hatches, of course, front and back, that you can get in and store things inside the hull. All right, I guess we'll just start here, start in the back and work our way up. The Jackson Big Rig has an anchor hole where you can actually attach your anchor and run it through. One of the first modifications I made to my big rig was actually put a retractable dog leash on it for my anchor line. So my anchor line is fed through the provided tubing and comes out the back. And like I said, it's just a simple little flexi standard tube dog leash from Walmart. The reason I like this is because I took it apart and retrofitted it with a thinner, heavier tensile strength line. I have 24 feet of actual usable line on my kayak, so I can anchor out fairly deep water, and use a 3-pound grapple anchor. Holds the big rig fine. I haven't had any problems with it, either in a hard bottom or mud. No problems at all. The big rig comes standard with your ram tough tubes mounted here. I added 2 more of the ram tubes with the ram balls, just because I like to carry 6 rods when I'm fishing, all for particular setups. So I did add these tubes. Of course, the fishing crate, that's every kayak fisherman's trademark is their crate. That's their one thing that you can really work on. I got the plans for this offline. It's built from a cube I got from Target. Just modified it, cut it up. Actually used a plastic cutting board from Walmart inside to make dividers and shelves to keep my stuff up out of the bottom, and gives me storage inside there as well. And then used the Plano 3700 waterproof boxes. They're big enough to store my baits, and I label them just so I can see what's in them. Did a little bit of a modification on the back with some bungee cords and pool noodles, so I can actually keep my bump board, keep my hog trough behind me, and it just pulls out and slides right back in. And also, with it being standing up like this, with a bright yellow, gives me a little bit extra visibility on the water. Okay, one of the things that fishing out of a kayak you'll find is your rods get hung up in trees, or sometimes you'll just knock them out of the rod tubes inadvertently. So it's pretty important to keep them strapped in. So these are just some Tiedowns that I built. Actually got the idea off of the internet. These are just cable cuffs that you can get at Home Depot. Just little plastic ratcheting type deals. I bought a 10-foot section of old style telephone cord, and then just put shrink wrap on them, put a crimp on them on both ends, and then just attach them to a small little carabiner to my ram tube. So whenever the rods are actually in the tubes, I keep them strapped down, because even though you're out on Lake Guntersville, if you hang up in a tree or something, or on a log, and you go over there and get it out, I've had tree limbs actually hang the tips of a rod, and as you paddle off, you don't know it, but it slowly pulls out of your rocket tube, and then you're down a rod. So that's one of the things I think everybody should have, is make sure you keep these on. And they're small enough that they're out of the way, so if the kayak was to flip, they're not around the angler, they're here in the back, so it's not I don't think it's a safety concern. But If it is, you know, I carry an NRS knife on my life jacket, you know, just in case. You know, always have a knife close by handy, you know, in case fishing with heavy braid, if something gets wrapped around you or something, you know, you need to have a way to cut it quickly, and the NRS knife is pretty good. It's small, kind of out of the way, and it's a pretty good deal. Locks in really tight into its sheath, so you don't have to worry about falling out. So I really like that. Like the NRS Chinook life jacket, has a high back, so it rides above the back of the seat. Very comfortable, breathes very well. Like I said, some days you're out here on these kayaks for 8, 10, 12 hours. So, you know, you want to have something that's comfortable, because, you know, if you're gonna be wearing it for that long, they got plenty of pocket space to keep your identifiers and any other small things. Keep my whistle attached on the lanyard here, so just in case, you know, I'll have my whistle. So this is the old style seat from Jackson. Of course, the new style is, you know, they've gone to a lighter, more pliable mesh. It's a little bit more comfortable, but as for all day, these seats right here, 10 hours, no problem. Big thing that stands out is the Humminbird Helix 5. This is a side scan, down scan sonar unit. I installed that not too long ago, so you know, have your depth finder, water temperature, GPS, all that built into the unit here. This is my scupper mount, where I have my transducer for my Humminbird. Sits here. The problem, as you can see right there, the transducer is up, tucked away up underneath the bottom of the boat, so that way it's out of the way for any logs or something you might come up to. But whenever you need to use the down, or want to use the down scan, you just pull that, and you see the transducer comes down and is now below the water line of the boat, so I can use the side scan and get the full view of it. I get my 180 degrees underneath the boat. So that was like I said, a little modification that I set around and made, and locks it back up in place, and now it's back up out of the way. So if I'm on shallow water or some riffles or whatever, I don't have to worry about my transducer. Modified the hatch. One of my biggest complaints about the BigRig was the hatch, having to take all these bungees off to get in, and the hatch was loose and it would flop around. So after seeing the new Coosa HD that Jackson came out with, and how they modified the hatches on those and put it on a hinge, I just basically got some aluminum I had laying around and just kind of worked with it and modified it, and actually made my front hatch on the BigRig where it's like on the Coosa, where it opens up completely, so I can get into it on the water and get things out. And of course, I have the Jackson battery tray inside for my depth finder battery. So yeah, it's easy to get in and out on the water, no problems at all. Purchased this boat, got it at Leaf and Creek Outfitters. A lot of the extra yak attack stuff and everything I also got at Leaf and Creek. Other than that, that's kind of the Jackson Big Rig. Like I said, I've had it for a year. I've fished skinny water, big water. I've been out on Guntersville, 2-3 foot waves. The boat handles it fine. Sometimes it's hard to paddle, you know, if you got a lot of wind, but you know, it's a great fishing platform, very stable, a lot of room, caught a lot of fish on it, and hope to catch a lot more.